Today also we are going to do class-based component, because as a class-based React, because as I have told, class-based is a bit longer and it takes time, and hook-based is such a small thing that it will be completed in one day. So we will start with the class-based now. Okay, so let me share my screen and we'll end it today. Means first we'll start with the lifecycle method as I've told earlier, and then we'll end it today. And lifecycle methods are very important thing in a class base. So let me share my screen. This is some of the code which we have done on the previous day, and okay, so this is something. And then so let's get started with the lifecycle methods. Let me open my slides. Lifecycle method. So there are different phases in lifecycle methods. Okay, so the phases are mounting, updating, unmounting, and error handling. Okay, so the mounting phase is that when an instance of a component is being created or inserted into DOM, then the mounting phase is done. Okay, then after that there is a updating phase. So updating phase is when, let me show it on a slideshow itself. Will be much better. Okay, so like this. So the mounting is when an instance of a component is being created and inserted into the DOM, that is known as a mounting phase. Okay, and then the updating phase, when the component is being re-rendered as a result of a change in either its props or state. So these are the two important phases which we are going to see. And then unmounting is not that much important, but we just have one lifecycle methods in that. And error handling is also there, which we will not see because not it is not used that much. So mounting and updating are the main thing. So what is this lifecycle methods? So lifecycle methods are that React gives us a lot of access to the different phases through which program goes, which control flows. Actually the control flows, it gives us access to that. So mounting and updating are according to that. Okay, so after that, first as I have told that we are going to do mounting, but let us see what are the methods. So there are different lifecycle methods which are there. In mounting there is a constructor and render, which we have already seen, which we have always seen that constructor. Okay, constructor is used when we want to put something there. Means it only runs once during the initial rendering, so that is constructor. Then render is there. Render runs a lot of time, but there are two more things are there: get derived state from props and component did mount, which we will learn. Similarly, in updating also get derived state from props is there. A should component update is also there. Render is again there, but the constructor is not there. Component did mount is not there. Two other lifecycle methods are there: get a snapshot before update and component did update. And unmounting, there is a component will unmount, only this code is there. And error handling, there is a get derived state from error and component did catch. Okay, so mounting lifecycle methods. Coming to mounting lifecycle methods, so this is the order in which they run. This is very important. This order is very important. Then that is a constructor, and constructor is there. Then get derived state from props is there. Then the render runs. Then at last the component did mount runs. So this is the order in which they run. And let's learn a bit more about them. Constructor. So constructor, it's a special function which is been called whenever a new component is created, and it is only called once. Constructor is perfect for initializing state and binding event handler. So initializing state and binding event handler, both of those things we have seen. Initializing state also and binding event handler also, both of them we have. And don't do HTTP request. Yeah, we should never do it. And it have a special function super pos, which we have always seen that this is required to have access to this.pos. Okay, can set state directly with this.state only in constructor. So this.state is only used in constructor and nowhere else. Okay, so this is constructor. Then there is get derived state from props. So that as it is said, this is a rarely used lifecycle method. It is used when the state of the component depends upon the changes in props over time. Okay, so as it is told, it is used when the state of the component depends on the changes in props over time, but we are not going to see much about it. Need to return new state or a null. Don't HTTP request from this method. Okay, then there is a render is there. Okay, render is there, which is the only required method. So see, it is like that if you don't want, you don't put the constructor also, it is not required, but render is always required, or as no React component will be rendered, nothing will be shown on the screen. So read props and state and returns JSX. So it reads the props and state and return JSX. Okay, and so it shows JSX, which we have always seen, is like the HTML thing. Okay, don't change state or interact with the DOM or do HTTP request from render. So we should never do the HTTP request from render. Okay, so child component lifecycle methods are executed after render. So this is important, we are going to see that. Then component did mount. So this is very important method. Okay, so this is one of the very important method which we should always learn, because this is the method which will again be called only once. This is invoked after the component and a child component are rendered in the ROM. We'll see this flow also. Perfect place to interact with the DOM and do HTTP request. So whenever we will do some API request, do some API endpoint, will have to put it in the component in mode. Child component lifecycle method are also executed after render. So they are also executed after the render. Okay. Now, okay. So this we'll see later on. And now we will see it through a code. So it's always better to see it through a code. Let me close this. And now I will have a new component, parent life cycle dot js. Parent lifecycle dot js, it is a RCC. Export your parent lifecycle is there, and then let me increase the font size a bit. A constructor and state I will take as yeah, state I'll take as name parent lifecycle, and I'll put console.log at every place. So why I'm putting console.log? So that we can know the flow. So that is the main thing, we are knowing the flow. Okay, so console.log a parent lifecycle constructor. Okay, so now after that we will have the other two methods. One is static get derived state from props, and it is props state. Okay, these two things will be there: parent lifecycle method, get derived state from props, and return null. As I've told, you have to return something. Okay, so it is given like this. Okay, then after that we'll have this component did mount. As I've told, it's a very important method, and here I will have this console.log parent lifecycle method. Again, we are having a lot of console.logs because we want to see the order. Okay, after that in the render we want to see that the render is ran or not. So in render we will have again like here console.log parent lifecycle render, and in the div I will have maybe div I will do like this, and I will have a h1, and in the h1 parent lifecycle I'll do okay. So this is done. Okay, so now it's time to get this. Okay, let me come back here, demo form parent life cycle. Okay, this one parent life cycle, this one I'll do comment this out, parent lifecycle. Let me comment this out, and parent lifecycle, I'll save it, and we'll come back here, and we have to open the console. Okay, it's working fine, but we have to open the console to see how it is working. Refresh it. Let me refresh it. Then we if I refresh it, I will again see what's the order is. Okay, the order is constructor get derived state from props, render, and component did mount. Okay, component did mount. Okay, so where did we get this? So let me go back here. So constructor get derived state from props, render, and component did mount. So this is the order in which it runs. So see, this component did mount ran after the render. So you might be thinking, okay, I have placed it here. No, it doesn't works like this. After the render is done, this component did mount is done, which is very important. Okay, which is very important. So this is like that, and then okay, so now what we are going to see, we are going to see if we have a child component, then what is the order. Child component is there, then what is the order. So for that, what I'm going to do, a parent lifecycle is there. Like this, I will have a child life cycle dot js, child lifecycle dot js rcc child lifecycle, and let's do one thing, copy all these things, and we will change all the parent to child. Okay, change that. So now what we are going to do, this parent, so this all this parent it is written, control F, and here I'll write this child life cycle, replace at all the places. So see, all the places this is child life cycle method has been done. Okay, so now from where we are going to call this child life cycle. Okay, we will call this child life cycle after this h1 child life cycle. The child life cycle is imported also, so that is important. So let me go back, and now let me refresh it. Okay, I have refreshed it. Now it is very important. See, parent constructor is run, get derived state from process of parent is run, parent render is run. Then see, this component didn't run for parent. So it after the render, all the rendering of the child components are also done. Okay, so then the constructor get derived render, and even the component did mount of child lifecycle method, then only it came back to parent lifecycle method. This is the order. This order is very important. So now this is done. Now what we are going to do, now we are going to learn about updating lifecycle method. So updating lifecycle method, when this they occur. So this is nothing, means I have not even clicked something or something. So updating lifecycle method run when you click something and the state get changed or some props get passed, something like this. Maybe some props are getting passed in this component. So so a re-render happens. Okay, so this lifecycle method run at that time. Even state get changed, so the render will run, but beside render all this lifecycle method also runs. So that is the updating lifecycle methods. Okay, so let me again increase it. Updating lifecycle methods, we'll see now. So updating lifecycle methods are static get derived state from props. Again the same thing, should component update, it's a new method, and this is the order. Render, after the render is there, get a snapshot before update, and component did update is there. So these are the order. So here we are seeing three new methods. This one, should component update, get a snapshot before update, and component did update. And component did mount doesn't run when the updating lifecycle methods occur, which we'll soon do it manually by changing the state. Okay, so first is get derived state from prompts. We know this method. This method is called every time the component is been re-rendered. This is a rarely used lifecycle method. Don't use this to do HTTP request for this method. Okay, so this is there. Should component update. Okay, coming to should component update. Should component update is actually a very important method. Why it is a very important method? Because I have seen this been used a lot in production, and those who don't know, I have a 16 years of IT background, 16 years, and past was as an architect. So I had worked in a lot of production projects. Okay, Production project means bigger projects. So should component update, what happens when the project get bigger and bigger? So a lot of render happens and performance get hit. So you will not find this in smaller projects, but this is used a lot in bigger projects. Okay, so it decides whether component should be re-render, and I don't know how it is done in hooks. Hooks nobody has seen these things. So yeah, this is one another thing. Hooks doesn't have this lifecycle method. This one at least this one it doesn't have. So maybe they have removed it. Okay, decides whether a component should be re-rendered or not. This method is mainly used for performance optimization, as I've said. Not HTTP request for this method. So you can stop a component to be re-rendered if you use this should component update. Okay, then render, as you know what is render. Get a snapshot before update. Called right before the changes from the virtual DOM are being reflected to the DOM. See, it is giving us so much precise control. Okay, so virtual DOM are always going to DOM. So this is done at that time. Used to capture some information from DOM. Example can read user scroll position and all this. Method with either return null or return a value. Return value will be passed as a third parameter to the next method, and the next method is component did update, called after the render is finished in the re-render cycle. Okay, so it is called after a render is finished. Okay, in the re-render, this is a very important lifecycle method. Actually, component did update, and we use a lot in production. Okay, so use a snapshot form, get a snapshot before update method, can do HTTP request, and once the render is finished in the re-render cycle, this is something like component did mount for that but it is a bit different component did update, because as you know component did mount doesn't run. Okay, so okay, this is okay. So we are done actually. Now we are going to see this method. So how we are going to see this method? As always, we are going to see it through a example, and we'll update our this example only. Okay, update our this example only. So we have got 3 new methods, so let's add them. After component did mount only, you can add anywhere, it can add. The order doesn't matter. The order will be always be the order in which they actually run. So should component update. Okay, then find lifecycle should component update. Okay, and here we have to return true or it doesn't work. Okay, return true. If I don't do, it will not work, means the next all this render will not work. Okay, and then we have a get snapshot before update, and it takes priv props comma priv state, and then again we are going to have a console.log and get snapshot before update, and again it also have to return something. So I will return null. Okay, return null, and then last one is component did update. As I've told, this is very important method, and like this component did update is very important. So we are going to have this, and now this method only run when the state is changed. How we will change the state? Actually, we have put this state for that reason only, so that we can change it later on, or else there was no reason for putting that. Okay, so we're going to have a button and button. Okay, I don't know why this JSX is not working. Button, and in this button just write change state on click equal to this dot set state and directly we're changing the state. So name will change to my web dev. Okay, this is the set state's name is the web dev. Okay, just changing it. So now what will happen when you change the state will get changed, and when the state gets changed, so exactly this lifecycle methods will run. Constructor won't run again, component did mount won't run again, but this one will run, this one will run, this one will run, this one will run, and render will also run. So this happens whenever the state is changed or the props some props get changed or props get passed. Okay, so like this we are going to this three new thing. Where are the three new thing? Okay, so this three should component update and all this thing. I'll come here, this here, and we'll put it there. Okay, again control F, replace at the three places. Okay, so we have done this. Now we will see the, again we'll come here and let me comment this out. So if I refresh it, this is the old thing which comes to the initial, but let me clear it. Now I will change the state. So now see a different set. So no constructor is there, no component did mount is there. So what is that? What is the order? What is the order? What is the order? So the order is get derived state from props. Both of them are there. Get derived state from props is there. Then should component update is there. Yeah. Then render is there. Yeah. Then get a snapshot before get. Okay, after render, see what happens after render. It goes to the child component because we have seen both of them. So it is going to the child component. Here get derived state from props is run. Should component update is run, then it render is run. Then after the render, this get a snapshot before update is run, and then again it comes to the parent lifecycle method and it's get a snapshot before update is run. Then the component did update is done. So this is some zigzag kind of things happens when you do this. Component did update is done, and then again the parent component did update is done. So this is the order. No need to memorize all these things, but you should know that component did mount doesn't run in the updating lifecycle method. And these things are always also in hooks. They have made it very easy with something known as use effect hook, and that is a bit complicated also because one single hook replaces all lifecycle method, all component did update, component did mount, everything it replaces. But the main thing is that what React teams realized is that the main hooks, main lifecycle methods, component did update and component did mount only, so they replaced only those two. This all these things sort of they have like omitted, means this are not in hooks. These are not in hooks. They have all only kept this component did mount and component did update. Actually they have made React very easy. They are actually not required. This all this method, this all this lifecycle methods are actually not required, these things. So they have kept only these two. Component did mount means not kept it. They have taken the functionality of these two only through use effect. Okay, and we'll learn about those things. Okay, so lifecycle methods are done. Okay, so next thing which we are going to see is there is something known as references. So we are going to see the references. So why use refs? References are also known as refs. So refs makes it's possible to access the DOM directly in the React. See what we're seeing in React right now means all these things, J6 and all. So we're not accessing the DOM directly. This is virtual DOM. But sometimes what happens, we have to access the DOM because DOM had got a lot of power. DOM had got a lot of means even the input box is there. So DOM had got this DOM have got a lot of access to a very different kind of things in the input. Okay, in the input it has got access to many different kind of things which is not possible through virtual DOM, but very minute cases there, so we use it. And I have seen some production users at other time also that like although there are a lot of npm packages for React, but there are even more jQuery packages. So sometimes some feature is there which is not in React, and but people don't want to create from scratch something. So we can use jQuery packages also in React through references only. Although it's a bit complicated and we are not going to cover that, but we can use that. Okay, so all those things have been done. Okay, this has been quite big. Okay, so now we will see reps and see it through a very useful demo. So components, I'll come and I'll do a refs demo.js, and here rcc export default refs demo Okay, so this I've done, and I will have a input. Oh no, why it is not working? Input type text we are going to have, and this input type just a text box we are going to have. So let me do this rest demo. Let me bring this on. Rest demo, it's been brought. Comment this out, save it, save it. Just a simple input box has been shown. Okay, simple input box has been shown. Now what I am going to do is how to create a reference. So let's create a reference. For that I will need a constructor. I need, and there is no state. Okay, there is no state. Although there is a constructor, the state concept in when we use refs, we use state concept of very state concept not that much. Which is the refs concept. Actually the whole input, the control input which I have shown, it can be done through your refs also, but you should not do it because React team says that you should not directly access the DOM when it is not required. Okay, but they have given you thing, and I know a lot of developers, big developers, they use refs instead of this dot state. They used to, but nowadays nobody uses class. If you are doing your own project, you are not going to use class based component only. I have told a use case. Okay, so first thing, this dot input ref equal to react dot create ref. So react.create ref is the thing through which we'll do. Input ref is react.create ref, and now we have to use this ref. So we use it through refs, ref equal to, and this dot input ref. See, when we use this ref, we don't have this concept of like this dot state dot something, and then we have to do the on change and all those things. So when there were class based component, people used to love these things. You can directly access the value like this. Okay, so we're not going to access the value, we're going to access something else. So, and we did need component did mount here. There is a reason for that. Okay, console.log, let us see this dot input ref. I want to see what is there in the input ref. I want to see that thing. Okay, so for that we need the component did mount. Okay, so this is there. If I open, see this current input is there. Okay, and it has got access to almost everything which we don't even get access to virtual DOMs. It has got access to almost everything, like whatever, value, last child, target, all those things, on mouse, scroll, and all scroll event, and all those things it has got access. So but we want access to something known as focus. See, if I refresh this thing, it is like this. But sometime you might have seen in some form that the this like it is there by default, it is there, so that the user know, okay, I have to put something here. So there, this is there in a lot of forms. Okay, so this is the thing which we are going to do here. And how we are going to do it is very easy to do. And for that, this dot input ref dot current. So current is a property again from the DOM, and the focus, it's a focus is a function there. Okay, let me save it, and if I go over there and see, if I refresh it, then by default it is coming. If I refresh it, by default it is coming. So the focus is there. So this is one of the small thing. There are many other things are also there. Okay, and okay, okay, and as I was telling, that thing means you can take the users input value also, and that also you can take it after they have entered. Okay, so let us do that quickly. Button, so maybe I don't know why it is doing like this. JSX button is there, then click is there, then on click this dot click handler is there. Okay, this is a click handler. This is a click handler is a function. Let me create that function, click handler, and it's always better to have a arrow function so that we don't have to worry about this. Okay, so console.log and user and third this dot input ref dot current dot, see, like that focus is there, there is a value thing is also there. Value thing is very powerful. See, if you don't use this, it is okay. Dot value, see, I'm not even using, even I can fire something here also, but through click handler also I'm getting access to it. So this is not even possible with normal state. That's why I have told, this is one of the reasons people used to love it, and people used to hate that state because you have to do on change and all those things are there. And know a lot of top developers used to use this thing. Okay, so this is there, and okay, see, no issue also there, nothing like that. I'm not able to type anything because on changes, because the state is not getting changed, those issues are also not there. Then I click it, it is coming. So that, this is how powerful it is. Okay, this is how powerful it is. Okay, so we're done with reps because we're not going to look into some very jQuery to kind of thing. That's a whole project in itself. Okay, so the next thing which we are going to do is the context API. Okay, context, wait a sec. Okay, so context API. So what is a context API? So see what happens on a lot of time. Let me take example. Okay, so see what happens. Suppose I want to pass some props from here to here, A to C, and it is like a parent is there, then some other component is there, other component is there, and last C is there. So it is not like a direct app component is going to the C component. A and B component are there, but I want to pass data from app component to the C component, but I have to pass it through A and B also. I don't have any other way, but even they don't uses it, just have to pass it. So this concept is also known as prop drilling. And people say that if like you have 100 components, although we never have 100 component like this, maybe it is having some weird kind of project will have. So what will happen, you have to pass that data prop from one to this 100 component, then it will go to the 101 component, which is a very bad idea. So for this reason, for bigger projects we have Redux, which have a centralized location, and I will teach Redux also. So that is there. Okay, Redux is there. And now what will be there? Okay, so those things are there. Okay, Redux centralized store, but Redux is sometimes overkill for a small and medium project. So because I have taken interviews also, a lot of people, and they are telling me that in medium projects also they don't use Redux, but I have seen it been used in medium to bigger project. But in medium projects also, in a lot of medium projects, you don't even need Redux. People find Redux very complicated. I don't find it that complicated, but people find it very, very complicated, and that's why they prefer context. So context is not a replacement of Redux. In bigger projects you have to go with Redux, but it's a way. Okay, and we will now learn context API so that we don't have to pass the data through all these middle components. Okay, so let's do that and let's get started. So again we are going to use the same file. This become quite big. So I'll come here and child.js I'll do. Okay, rcc export default child component. Okay, child component I have done. Okay, so after this child, I will have a parent.js. Parent.js. I'll have a parent.js, and it will also be RCC, and parent, and here let me have this child here. I'll do. Okay, so parent, let me have the parent here, and then I will have a grandparent also, grandparent.js, grandparent.js, RCC, grandparent. Okay, and this grandparent will call our parent. So you now know the hierarchy. So this is what I was also telling about in that diagram. So this is the hierarchy. Okay, so the grandparent is calling the parent, and parent is calling the child. In child we have, let me have a h1 here, child component, like, and why to have this like this? So like this I will have grandparent, I will have this, and now this grandparent will go to our app. Okay, grandparent will go here. So grandparent is coming here, save it, come back, and the child component is mission from the child component. Okay, let me close this. Okay, so this is there. So now actually from app component we want to pass something. Okay, I have a lot of this thing, let me remove it. They're of no use. And we have to learn something. So okay, so grandparent is there and it is just calling. So now I want to pass something from here, app, to directly the child. I want from app to child I want to pass. I don't want to pass through this grandparent and parent. So that is the main thing. I don't want to follow that hierarchy, that passing some prop through app to grandparent, from grandparent to parent. It will be very easy, and we don't want to do that. We want to use the context. So how to use the context? What we are going to do, we have to create a file, new file known as let us create it inside the components only. So it will be user context.js, user context.js. This is not a React file. It will be a bit different than a normal React file. You'll see that thing, const let us make it capital. User context is react.create context, and it will complete here. User context is react.create context, and const user provider equal to user context dot provider, and similarly const user consumer is user context dot consumer, and then we are going to export both of them. Export user provider and user consumer, we are going to export. Okay, so this is like this, and now we want to use it. So there is one thing, see, from where we want to send something, we wrap that in a provider. From where we want to receive something, we wrap that in the consumer. So we'll come to the app, and here I will have this grandparent wrap in a provider, user provider. So there can be multiple provider, also user provider, and I have to wrap the user provider like this. Let me have some, and now I want to pass some data or props or data props, whatever you want to say. Here I have to write something known as value, and this is non-negotiable. So value is something which you have to write. So no other name can be there. Like in props we have seen, we can give anything like name, cement, anything we can give. Okay, here it is not like that. Okay, here it is not like that. I have to do like this. Okay, value is, this is a keyword, this is a keyword, this thing is a keyword, so value is Nabendu. So I have any, but this can be anything. Okay, this can be anything. So this is how I pass the data. This is how I pass the data. Okay, so now we will go to directly the child component. We are not going to the grandparent or the parent, we are directly going to the child component, and we have to use it. So using it, we have to use it to the user consumer, and this is a bit complicated. Okay, so so it is not just that easy like this. Okay, so I'll come here, and the first thing which I want to have to do is, first thing what I will do is, let me remove this itself, because I will show something. So first thing is that the user consumer I have to do, so it will also be taken. I have to wrap everything with the user consumer. Okay, and then this is there. Okay, and inside this I will have a user name like this. Okay, username I'll have, and this thing, okay, now this thing can be anything. This thing, just like I told, this have to be value. So this is important, but this thing username I have taken, it can be anything. It is not like user, it can be anything. But then after that, return I will do return. Okay, and return I have to do, and let me have this direct. I can use a username, but let me have something more also. So let me do a hello username, and our earlier text. Okay, let it be s3, and let our earlier text is also there, which is like child component, which we have deleted, so that we can know it's a child component. Okay, so hello username, as I told, this is not a keyword, this can be anything. This can be maybe user also. Why to take such a big name? Can be user also. Okay, save it. And if I come, see that child component, hello Nabin, this is Nabin thing is important. This I'm passing from here and I'm getting it here, and this kind of thing. But one thing is that this method, this pattern is known as render props. It is one of the toughest, it was one of the toughest pattern in class-based React. It is, means it was not, it is, along with higher order component that have given classes a bad name. And why a bad name? See, already this is too much complicated, so that's why we should never use this render process thing. Okay, and on top of it, what happened in this method here in the context API, if I have another, I have to pass something else also. See, it is not like that I can pass only one value, I can pass another value also. Then I have to wrap it with this like user provider, some other provider, I have to wrap it. Although we can wrap is also a lot of code, but it's okay. So but what happens here, the render process code gets very complicated, that I'm not going to show now. Maybe I will going to show in the hook also, we are going to learn about this. That time I'm going to show. So it gets very complicated because here user is there. Okay, we have to again do this return thing, and it will get complicated. Okay, so that is not the way we'll do. And actually I'm going to show a easier way. For this, provider will always be like this, but the consumer, there is another way in the consumer which we are going to see. That's why I'm not showing the tougher thing how to do. For that, we don't have to put this, we have to export. This is although this is exported, we have to export the whole thing also. So I'll do default export default user context. User context means I'm directly doing this. Save it. Okay, save it. And then now I will go to this parent. So parent is also means from here I directly want to pass to the parent with child, let that be there. I want directly to pass to parent without going to the grandparent. I could have passed directly to the child also, but let it be there, that let the code be there. So here, instead of that consumer thing, what I'm going to have, first thing, static. See, here everything is keyword, but one thing is that here everything is a keyword. Static context type, static context type equal to user context, and this user context we have to import this also, but this is a default import. Okay, is it coming? Yeah, it is coming. It's a default import, so it is, we don't have to do like this. Okay, so this is a default import. First thing is that. The next thing is that, okay, after this child, let us have let us try to have that Nabendu value here, and h1. Oh, I don't know why it is coming like this. Let me have this as a parent welcomes, and we have to use this dot context, this dot context. Okay, as I've told here, everything is a keyword. This context is also a keyword. This dot context, this is keyword, this is keyword, everything is a keyword. Okay, save it. I'll go back. What happened? Okay, something weird happened. Okay, context type. As I've told, everything is keyword. See what happened. Just with that T error, I got an error. So everything is keyword here. Only thing is that everything is keyword here, but we don't have this render format. We just can use this, use it like this. Static context type equal to use the context, and with this dot context we can use it everywhere. So this is how it is there. Okay, okay. So this is how it is done. Okay. So we are done with this also, and we are coming to the last part of our class based thing, and it took us 3 days. Yeah, 3 days is a lot of time. Okay, and it took us so many days that what I'm thinking that to extend the React means I think another 2 days will go in hook only. Means if I start telling hook in a better way, it will take another 2 days in hook. So I am thinking of doing 2 days in a hook, and next week also we'll do React, but we'll do advanced React. What is advanced React? Advanced React means Redux is advanced React. So we'll do advanced React, and maybe I will do Redux for 3 days, and then I will do some projects. Okay, I have some projects lined up. Then next week will be I will completing those projects. So next week stay tuned for advanced Redux, means not advanced Redux, it is advanced React, or maybe Redux and projects. Redux and projects, that's a good name, Redux and projects. Now, for next week we'll have Redux and projects, so that it is different than React. Okay, anyways, I have a lot of React projects, don't worry about that, but next week at least 3 days I will do Redux, and it will be 3 days thing. Okay, so after that, on let's name next week as advanced React and Redux. So the last thing which we are going to do is in a class-based concept is React and HTTP. So how to do HTTP? HTTP calling is actually very easy. Either you can do it through Axios, or you can do it through Fetch API. Nowadays, earlier it was Axios. Axios used to come a lot, but nowadays we can do it with Fetch APIs only, inbuilt Fetch API. Axios also, I have Axios example also at a lot of places. If you want, you can do through Axios also, or you can directly do it through Fetch API, which now after 2015 it is coming in the browser. You don't need to use anything special. Okay, so let us do that. Okay, so we are going to use the famous JSON placeholder, this post endpoint we are going to use. So this endpoint gives us this API endpoints. So this is like how the internet works. This API endpoints give me all these things, array of objects, and we are going to get it. So it is not like that if I hit that endpoint like this. So this is an API endpoint. This is this is created using complicated logics of backends, and what I've seen, they are also created in Node.js. So if you want to see, you can see the Node.js thing. Okay, so let's get started. And in app, let me have a new post list.js. I'll have a post list.js, and it will be RCC export default post list is there. Save it, come here, let me remove this post list. We are going to have post list. So this post list we are having, and then let us use the fetch API, not the access, fetch API. Okay, very easy to use. Our const, a bit of complication is there, but not that much complication that we install an external library. Okay, so see what we generally do. See, we'll make an post as an empty array. Okay, so why we are making it as an empty array? There is a reason behind that. So whatever way we receive the data from a backend, we are receiving an array. It's an array of an object, but it's an array. So that's why I made and it's a post also, so it is not means it's good because we are receiving a post, so we are making a post. It is very logical also. So okay, so this post is an empty array, and then we will fill it with the data. So now how to do this? Okay, so like this, let me have h1 here. Okay, this is not coming, I don't know why. H1 list of posts, save it, and then I will use component did mount. As I've told, component did mount is a very important lifestyle method, but we have to use the async. So there is two ways to use it, either through the async and or through the then part. So then is, both of them are quite useful, means quite modern, and we have covered this in the JavaScript promises also, JS promises. Okay, that async JavaScript we have completed this. Okay, but in the JavaScript week there is async JavaScript day. That day we have completed that async await or then and catch block is there, but we'll use the async today. Okay, so for that this component did mount is there, but the thing is that we have to make it sync because we are going to use await inside it. Okay, await inside it. So const URL equal to, okay, so it is not URL equal to this URL in quotes. I'll give then const response or res whatever it is equal to await fetch URL. The problem with await is that you have to do two time this is known as doing a promise, because internally it does the promise. You cannot just directly get a data like that. So fetch also does a lot of mechanism inside it. It does a promise, but it doesn't return as the complete result. If we had used Axis, it would have directly, this system would have written us the result, but we are not getting the result right like this. We have to do another thing like this, const post equal to await response.json. We have to do this, then only we will get the result. And now I will do the console.log of posts. I will do console.log of posts. Let me do that, and let me see whether we are getting the data or not. React list of posts, it is showing good. Console, what is this error? I don't know what is this error, but we are getting the data. Okay, it was earlier error, so we are getting the data. We just have to show it now, and it is very easy to show because we have already taken that post state. We just have to set the state. Okay, so we just have to remove this and this. dot state, this dot not a state, this dot set, I think I have also forgotten. This dot state is posts is posts. Okay, post is post, and this post is actually, this post is this post, and this post is this post. We're taking the same name. We can do another trick here. This is again a ES6 thing. We can remove this object literal or something, it is told called like this, it will work. This is just a shortcut I have taken. Okay, so now I have to show it, and then if we're taking shortcut, let's take another shortcut. Okay, so now const post equal to this dot, because const posts I have taken the same name, so this is object destructuring. Post equal to this dot state dot post. This statement means const posts equal to this dot state dot post. This statement means. So now after that I am going to show it. Okay, so how I'm going to show it like this, and we use maps a lot to show it. Okay, so but let us see this. See, all API calls takes at least 1 or 2 seconds, so we cannot directly do the map, or else it will give an error. Post, we are first checking whether the data is there or not. Post, and then post dot length also I'm doing. Length is greater than 0 is not required. It will only, this is a short circuit operator, it will go on the right side only if the this is true. Okay, then after that and post dot map and post and div key equal to post dot id. So we should always give a key, so that's why I'm giving a key, post dot id, and this div is ending here, and post, let us show only one thing, we are not here to show the complete component and all. Post dot title, and it is done. Let me show post dot title, and so it is already showing the title, and it is already showing it good. Okay, so this is there. Now this is what we have just done. This is known as the get API. Okay, the get API. Let us do the post API. Although it is like that post list, it is the get API which we have done. So this is to get the data, but if you want to put the data, just like we submit some form or something, what we should do. Okay, so we will learn that also, and actually that is a bit complicated in when we do it through, not complicated, there is more code, nothing is complicated. The code is more here when you do it through fetch than through Axios, but it's okay. So I will have another component, another file which is post form.js, then rcc export default post form, constructor. Okay, so state, so we are again going to use that same API, same endpoint. Actually at that endpoint we can submit a request also. Okay, we'll see that, but we need something there. So first thing which we need is the user ID, which is a empty string, comma, title is empty string, comma, body is a empty string. Okay, this all things are there, then the render is there, and then const, this, all these things are there, is not equal to this dot process, this is equal to this dot state, this dot state. So this, all the things are there. Now let us have a form and show a form to take the user input. So form I will have, and then I will have a div. I don't know why this is showing like this. div because everything is a inline element. This input, this label. Let us not have this label and all. Just it's a simple thing. We will have a, but why not label? Let's have something good. Okay. 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 I will have a bit of a different way. So this is one way. But if you do it in this way, okay, we can do it here also. Means we don't need a. Why not? Why not? Yeah, this is a good way actually. There's another way, but this is also good. I don't like this. It is much better. Okay. Okay, so like this, if we are going, if we are doing like this, so this is also one way, or else we would have to create a function and all those things. That is a very bad thing. And let's see this way only. And we have for label title also. Title is direct way setting the state here. Okay, so this is a very good way actually. And the last div will be label body, and the body is something like this. Again, the body is also set. Save it. Now if I come here, okay, I'm not even showing this. Okay, it is known as post form. Let me go back. Post form, post form, post form, save it, and the post form is shown. Okay, no styling and all, it's okay. We are going to do this much only. Okay, not so many things. Okay, so after that we are going to have a button. Okay, button we'll have here, button of, I don't know why this is coming, button of type equal to submit and submit. Okay, when we have a type of submit, we will have this on submit here. On submit is this dot most popular name is handle submit, or you can take anything. Handle submit is there, and now this handle submit is there. Now we want to submit this value to the backend. So it is, we're not going to just do a console log or something, so we can do the console log on everything like that, but we are going to submit this value to an API endpoint, and it will be the same API endpoint actually, that JSON placeholder, same API endpoint. Actually that is a very good API endpoint. You can submit also something there. Okay, so this handle submit is there. Definitely I have a lot of videos with Axios. Thank you so much. Definitely you can check some of the videos. I have lot of them. I will maybe I can, you can contact me, or maybe you can leave a comment. I will give one of my video, and I want to give one of the pain point also here. There is a pain point in this fetch API. See, this one was very easy, but this one is not that easy. This is something which I was telling. There is a pain point, and in Access that pain point is not there. Post is a bit tougher, not tougher. There is a lot of logic is there. Okay, so we'll see that logic. And you're right, Access is better if you do a post. Get not much logic is the only, this line is extra. Okay. Okay, so enough of talk. We already have done more than 1 hour. Okay, so handle submit I'll do. Handle submit equal to, we have to do async here. Okay, so it is not like this. We have to do async here, because anyways we are going to use the await. So we are going to do async here, and then the e, and then first thing we have to do e.prevent default. E.prevent default, we always do this, and it is required. And then the const URL equal to the same thing. Actually, this is the same thing. As I was telling, this API endpoint you can submit also, although you will not see it, but you can submit also in this API endpoint. Okay, and I'm not going to create a backend right now for this thing. Okay, so the problem with your fetch API is that you have to submit a lot of headers here. Lot of header settings you have to submit. The const settings equal to this I have to do, and I have to write the method as post. Okay, method as post, and then I have to pass the headers. Headers I have to pass, and here I have to do the content type application JSON and comma and accept also. Okay, one more thing I have to pass. It is not giving me. It is accept. I have to do accept, and this is also application JSON. Accept is also application JSON. These two things I have to pass. Both of them is application JSON. And after that, okay, this is ending here. I think I have not given one more ending. Okay. After that, inside this settings only, I have to pass the body. Okay, a body I have to pass as JSON.stringify this dot state. I'm just passing it directly like this. JSON.stringify also you have to do before passing. Okay, and now we have to do this. So this is as I told, this is a lot of logic, and const response is await fetch URL setting. So here again the same thing we have to do, but this in the URL I have to pass a second parameter as a settings. Second parameter I'm passing as a setting, and then the same song and dance, that data is await like this, and console.log data is more than enough. Okay, because anyways we are going to post something, the console.log data is more than enough. And this one thing is there. See this post endpoint, I've got 100 posts. Okay, so let us see one thing. And this is not a, this is JSON placeholder, is not a real thing and all. Okay, so user ID. So why I have given the user ID? See, it also expects the user ID. ID is something which is put by this API endpoint itself, but the user ID you have to give. Okay, so user ID maybe anything I can give. 45 title React basics. This is the end. If I submit it, see one thing you might have saw, it took at least 1 second to get it back, and user ID 45 and ID it is giving me 101. Actually there are 100 IDs here. If I can scroll down, it is still 100 posts are there, and this is my 101 post. Although it is not, it is just temporary, but this means that my API post is successful, or else it would have given me some error also. Even if I go to that network request, it is successful, everything is successful, or else it would have come right. Okay, so this is how we do the post. Just it was example to do the post, because if you do it through fetch, we have to give the settings. Okay, so this is something which we have to give through Axios. As Sai was telling us, we don't have to do this thing, this all these things we don't have to do. So post is very easy with Axios. Okay, so with this actually we come to an end of our class based React. Tomorrow we will do hook based React. And what I'm thinking, I was thinking that complete React with projects I can complete in this week, but it won't be possible. The next 2 days I will do hook based React only, so that the main part of React is done. So after that Redux is Redux is actually not a part of React, what I can say. What Redux is, so I'm done with today. What Redux is a totally different library. As I've told, there are a lot of people who don't even use Redux. They use context API. Context API is also very powerful. You can use everything. But Redux is required in big projects. When you go to some company, you will definitely, your projects, you're going to use in a big, you're going to work in a big project in which at least 50, at least 20 to 30 only front-end engineers will be there. All the projects nowadays are front-end heavy, not back-end heavy. So 20 to 30 front-end engineers will be there. If you're going to a startup, even the back-end you have to do in Node.js. So in those cases also you have to use Redux. Redux is a must. So that's why Redux. And Redux also I'm thinking to do it in a bit more I will explain a bit more. So next week will be Redux week plus Redux plus React project. So it I meant Redux plus projects will be the week name. So 3 days of at least 2 to 3 days of Redux. I don't know how much it will take, but at least I will teach in a good way to do 3 days of Redux, and then we'll do some projects for the next 3 days. Okay. So with this, I will end today's stream and hope you like it. And the 2 days are remaining, and if you want to do the certifications also and get some more guidance from me, the link is there. And tomorrow I'm going to have another call also, a weekly inner circle call, which will also be live stream on YouTube. You can see that what we do in the weekly inner circle call. Okay. So with this, I'll end today's call. Thank you.